Wake up.
Charles Carty.
We have much to discuss.
I'll tell you what. I'll start off with this one. So, I think one of my favorite things on your channel, and I'd say the same to Paladin, are the rewrites. I think those are really just wonderful. I love watching those. And a commonality I kind of noticed between the Asylum and the City rewrite is, well, two things. To my recollection, correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe one of the changes you made to City is that you did not you removed Raish's role as like the mastermind over Sharp, right?
Yeah,
Am I remember right?
Yes.
Not over Sharp, over Strange. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And then in Asylum, you had mentioned that you were thinking about having Quincy Sharp be like the mastermind of it, but you couldn't quite work it in. I'm curious, like coming from those two experiences, what did you learn about the difficulty of trying to write in, a mastermind character?
Well, I kind of learned from the games themselves that to have sort of that mastermindy character like Rachel Gull, it can't be any like I found it really hard to set up because in Batman Arkham City you fight Rachel Gull and you beat him, and then one of the big complaints I kept seeing from people, because I was always like, for the rewrite things, I'm always looking at like people's complaints to try and like fix them up a little bit. And one that I always noticed was, well, you beat Raish earlier in the game, so then for him to come back seems a bit weird. And so I kind of removed Raish from that to, one, make sure no one was like, well, you didn't fix that. And two, because like I couldn't think of anyone else to take that role, so I was just like, I'm just not going to have it. But in terms of kind of learning how to write that in, I found it really hard. And the whole rewrite series, to be fair, especially like the main games, I've started like doing like the side missions now and stuff, but the main games have kind of taught me how hard it actually is to write a story. Like, because I know it, because when you just sat there playing the game, you're like, oh, that's weird, like I don't like that, or oh, that's weird. But actually sitting and like sat in front of a script typing, I'm like, what? How do people do this? Like it's yeah. I've got a video after the Arkham Knight rewrite called Arkham Talon, which is like my own thing. And everyone tells out there, Gotham Paladin, Fan Butcher, everyone's in on the joke sort of thing. But I'm a bit worried for that, because that's like a completely original story. That's like straight out of just my brain. So I'm a bit like, oh my god. But yeah, it's I found it very hard to write that. And the Arkham City rewrite took 5 months. Like, because after the Arkham Asylum one, I kind of mentioned in the Arkham Asylum video, I was like, oh, I might do the rest of the series. It was kind of just like a throwaway line. I might do it. Yeah. And then every comment I got was like, do the Arkham City one, do the Arkham City one. Where's the Arkham City one? And I was like, oh no. So then when I started writing it, I think I got up to the Ra's al Ghul part in my first draft, and I was like, I haven't actually changed anything. This. I'm just rewriting Batman Arkham City with different voice lines. So I scrapped it, and then I went on like this run of kind of like writing out of spite. Like, I was just going to write this like jokey Arkham City rewrite where like Killer Moth was behind it all, and Croc showed up, and it was a complete mess. And I was like, oh, that'd be really funny. But then I was like, no, people would be rightfully quite mad at me if I did that. Like, if I made them wait, I was like, yeah, no, the Arkham City rewrite's coming, guys. And then I was like, actually, no, it's not. So yeah, I definitely have a newfound respect for writers, especially of pre-existing things. Because another thing that I found difficult was handling the characters. So it's like Batman, Joker, Harley Quinn. These characters are so loved. So when I'm like, Batman lets Hugo Strange die really at the end, I was like, oh, that's a bit, I'm not sure if people like that. But I didn't get too many people being like, that sucked. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, the way you've kind of taken Batman, it kind of works. So yeah, I've definitely got a newfound respect for writers of any kind, because it was something that I'd never really done apart from like at school. So doing it and then being like just opening it up to criticism from thousands of people was a little bit scary, but it worked out in the end, I think.
On the writing end of things, I know your favorite villain, or at least one of them, is Killer Croc.
Yes.
And I think Croc is a really interesting character, in a couple different ways. But one of them that jumps out to me is I feel like it's a real litmus test for writers, because I think every writer who's doing Killer Croc has to decide how much of the man you want to have in there and how much of the beast you want to have in there. If you're writing, let's say not even a rewrite, just blank canvas, comic book, game, movie, whatever, how much of Croc is going to be the man and how much of it is going to be the beast? side of it.
Ooh, I quite like. I will tie this back into the rewrite just for this, and then I'll answer the question.
Yeah.
The rewrite that I'm doing at the moment is going to have Croc go on like a 3-game arc of monster to man. Because his things like his mutation, right? Like his skin mutation, and then that mutates everything else, and it's a whole thing. So my whole idea with Croc in that is to take him from Arkham Asylum, where he's this cannibalistic beast. Then in Arkham City, I had a killer Croc boss fight in there, 'cause of course I had a killer Croc boss fight in there. He sheds a tear at the end of the boss fight. Like, Batman puts him down, and then the camera would, like, pan in on him, and he'd cry. Or not cry, like, he won't break down into tears, but a tear would roll down his eye.
Yeah.
So then in Night, my plan is to try and bring out that human side of him a bit more and have his mutation, like, wear off a little bit. And then maybe in the 4th game where I've got to, like, write it from the ground up, maybe I'll make him a lot more human. But I can't remember what comic it is. I think it's Batman... blanked on it. Okay, right. Batman Earth 1. There we go. I was going to say Year 1, but that's a different thing. So Batman Earth 1, Batman finds him in the sewers. Like, Batman's in the sewers, and then he runs across Killer Croc, and then they fight. And then Killer Croc's like, leave me alone. And Batman's like, what? I mean, you tried to bite me. Like, what do you mean, leave me alone? And then you kind of find out Killer Croc's actually kind of aware that what he is of what he is, and his kind of humanity behind the crocodile side of it. And he's like, oh, I've lived down here, but now this other guy's come down here, and it's, you know, we kind of just agreed to leave each other alone. And the other guy ends up being the Riddler. And yeah, it's really cool, and how it shows Croc as the monster, because his initial instinct is, this is my turf, I'm going to bite your head off. But then he kind of goes into, like, once Batman starts beating him, and he kind of has to think of a way out of it that isn't biting, because clearly that's not going to work. You kind of see that human side of him. So I think if I was to write Killer Croc as like a completely blank slate, it would be similar to that, in that he has those like animalistic tendencies, but he's also very aware of that he is crocodile, and he is also a human within that crocodile. That sounded like that. Pause. That was a really weird sentence. You get the point. I try and mix the two, sort of like a 70-30 split of human to crocodile.
But yeah,
maybe that 65-35. Yeah.
So what would be the logical endpoint of that to you? Let's say, for example, that like Croc was the protagonist of the story and just stuck with him. Would the end of it be eventually he just tries to integrate into society, but is like dealing with the bullshit from that? And, you know, I'm putting you on the spot, so maybe you don't have an answer.
No, that's fine. This is good. I think my endpoint for Croc, if I had to do like a Dark Knight trilogy, right, for Croc, right, from beginning of his mutation to the end of it, my endpoint for Croc would be, and I don't know how this would work, but his mutation would wear off a little bit. He'd still be a crocodile thing, because I think that's like a big part of his character, is that insecurity and that sort of way of living. But I don't know, like, helping people? I don't know how. But, like, maybe we get Bat Croc? No, I don't. Bat Croc's probably not going to...
Like a vigilante, like a hero version?
Yeah, like, I'm not really sure how that would work in practice, but I think having Croc as a... Or even, yeah, like you said, like, integrating back into society, trying to work around that could be, like, a cool thing. I know there is also a comic where Croc tries to get a job, and everywhere's like, oh yeah, we'll get back to you. And he's like, nowhere wants to hire me. And I'm like, well, no shit. Like, but yeah, I think having Croc as sort of a sympathetic character, yeah, that sort of sympathetic side could be quite cool to explore as the mutation wears off, or even keep him mutated and see how that works to work him back into the world.
I'm going to ask for one rewrite spoiler, and if you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
Okay, all right, go for it.
On the Arkham Knight rewrite, is Joker still going to be a sidekick? No?
I'm not going to say words, but no, he's not.
No.
Joker, I think that's dead. It's gone. Well, yeah, he's gone, kind of. He's kind of gone. He's gone in the physical sense and even the constant mental sense. But he might make an appearance at one point, which... There was a specific moment I thought of when I was writing the City thing. I was like, oh, that'd be a really cool way to, like, have Joker back, but, like, not for very long. Like, he'd show up for a little bit, and then he'd go, and then it'd be kind of like, oh, that was weird. So, yeah, he will show up, just not in the capacity he did in the real Arkham Knight.
You know, similar to Paladin, I know one of your favorite games is Red Dead 2. If there was
Yeah.
going to be another, time, if there was going to be another era, place in history to get a Red Dead 2, does one jump out to you?
I'd quite like to see like a proper Old West, like at the peak of the Old West's kind of
Oh, I see. Like
powers.
more
if
of
that makes
the
sense.
more of the like Clint Eastwood thing and less of the
Yeah,
yeah.
because obviously Red Dead 2 takes place as the Old West's kind of dying out.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to Red Dead 1, it's kind of dead. Like cars and civilizations are popping up. So I'd
Yeah.
like to see like I don't know, like 1870s game, like 1860s, 70s, right? It's proper, like, yeah, like you said, like Clint Eastwood, like nowhere's quite building itself up yet. I think that'd be really cool to see. I don't know how it would work, but yeah, I think that'd be cool.
I think it would be cool. Yeah. Well, what is it? What is it about the Wild West idea that's so compelling to you? Is it something you could put your finger on?
I think it's the ruggedness of it. I like the idea. I mean, I like the idea in a game and a film sense, not a real world sense, that it's like completely lawless to a certain extent. And that's one of the main things I really love about Red Dead 2 is the fact that that law is starting to creep in. And you see this band of people who live their whole lives basically just kind of doing whatever. And like the walls are closing in on them and you're like, oh, like this is I think there's a line like he says like we're living in a world that doesn't want us anymore.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that single line there to me is like, I think that's why I like Red Dead so much. Because you've got these people who don't fit into society anymore, trying to make a better life for themselves, doing what they would have done to make a better life for themselves 20 years ago. And seeing how the modern world kind of handles that's quite interesting.
Could you define what atmosphere means to you?
Oh, that's a good one. I think in games, and we talking about specifically in gaming.
Well, you can take it wherever you want. I had gaming in mind when I wrote it. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's kind of what I had in mind too. Atmosphere for me is like it's almost indescribable in a like if I was to try and okay, right. I
Yeah,
know what
no
I'm
worries.
trying to,
Take your time.
I don't know what I'm trying to say it. So like I'll use Red Dead 2 and
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum, right, as examples. Red Dead 2's atmosphere when you're in Valentine, for example, and you're in that sort of in that main strip where the bar is and the shop, and that to me is atmosphere. Like it's got it feels almost familiar, even though it's not. Like obviously, because I've never been to the Old West. I don't know anyone that's ever been to the Old West, but like it feels like there's life there. But on the opposite end of it, my other example of Arkham Asylum has atmosphere because of how little life there is in it, and how much darkness is surrounding it, both physically and sort of in the ghosty, haunted sense. So I think it's that feeling of familiarity. That's the word. While also having that sort of, I don't know, it's just a feeling. It's like I think that's probably the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
Like the
That makes
feeling
sense.
of, like the feeling that you know where you stand with a place and its surroundings kind of build a feeling by themselves without you having to do anything in it. That's probably the best way I could put it. And that's a good question. I'd have to think of it, like, to actually get like a proper answer, I'd have to think about that for a while. But yeah, that's good.
I'm curious. I think your channel spans quite a long, like a wide range in terms of like, well, of course you're focusing mainly on Arkham at the moment, but sometimes you'll have the 10-minute videos of like, I have this one question, let's do it, and then sometimes it's 2-hour things of like, let's look at this entire honking video.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Between the two, is there one that you prefer? Do you like the really video essay ones or the kind of quick, more 15-minute ones?
I prefer the longer videos. If I could just make those sort of like 2-hour, 2.5 hour, I go to the Arkham City retrospective. That's my favorite video I've ever made. I think like from start to finish. Like there's a really good video. It's an Arkham City retrospective by a channel called White Light. I don't know if you've seen his stuff. His Arkham City video is probably my favorite video ever.
Wow.
It's like, I rewatch it a lot, and I don't rewatch YouTube videos very often because I feel like YouTube's like a constantly moving thing. Like, you kind of like, oh, new stuff's coming out all the time. And I kind of wanted to live up to that. And I don't know if I did, because his video is, like, the production value of it's insane. But that video to me is like, if I could have every video at that level of the Arkham City retrospective, I would. So I like kind of surrounding myself with a project, if that makes sense. Like, waking up and thinking, all right, today I'm recording gameplay for this specific section of the video. Like in the Arkham City one, I was like, right, today I'm doing the voiceover for the Wonder City section. I've got this specific gameplay to record. I've got this to edit. And I kind of like getting lost in the process of that, because that's what I really like about content creation, is the process of having like a blank editing timeline. And then for the longer videos, 2 or 3 weeks later, you've got this completed film, kind of. Like it's a 2.5 hour video. So yeah, if I could get away with just uploading 2-hour like dives into things, I definitely would.
It sounds like maybe your perfect like version of the channel would be something where like you have the 10 or 15 minute videos that are kind of like ramping up, or maybe like practice for the big things, and you take all the lessons you learn from that and apply it to the big honking ones. That sound about right?
Yeah, I think so. I think because I started out at college doing video essays and stuff like that. And I think this is the first or second video on the channel is like a big 3-hour Red Dead video. And that was my final college project. So like that was kind of what I started out making. Like I started making the big videos, which is a really weird thing. So I know most people start with like the shorter videos and then they'll lead up to one. But just the way I was kind of taught at college, and it was like, you need a big project you need to hit these goals with it. It kind of always just made sense to do bigger videos. So I think, yeah, definitely the bigger videos, and say that's kind of just how I started out. And I try a lot of things in the smaller ones on my end. Not so much that like a viewer would see, but on my end with like scripting. And in fact, I was talking to Val the other day, and I said to him, oh, I finally started putting paragraphs in my script. And he was like, oh my god, thank you. Because I sent him a segment of one of our scripts once, and in the way he was typing out the messages, it was just a wall of text. And he was like, I do not know how you read that. And I was like, I do, but it's like, my eyes like hurt. But like, as stupid as it sounds, lately I've started putting paragraphs in scripts. Life-changing. It's been amazing. I've been able to read segments and not mix up sentences. So yeah, like even just stuff like that, or like thumbnails, I'll maybe try a different thing every now and then. Just sort of the creative process, and then I'll implement that into the bigger videos. I'd say most of the time it's not something, unless you're like hyper-analyzing the videos, would see. It's not like something someone would see. But it's just the little things that kind of make the big videos feel a bit more grand and a bit more big.
Well, I guess on the bigger videos, like what is it at the end of, however long it's, I think you said 5 months. I can't remember if you said that about the Arkham City retrospective, but like,
oh yeah, the Arkham City one was hell.
What is it that you learn about, the game, about yourself, about videos at the end of that 5 months? What do you take away from that?
A lot, actually. The Arkham City rewrite specifically, that was the 5-month one, because it just wouldn't come together. And what I kind of did, I discovered in that video specifically that I really like these characters to be human. I know that sounds weird, because most of them are. I like showing that side of them. But even just personally, I was like, I figured out with myself, I need time to kind of sleep on things a lot. Not actually sleep on things, but like just let things lie. Like the Arkham City rewrite, I tried scripting an early version of that, like 2-3 days after the Arkham Asylum rewrite came out, and it just didn't work. I just couldn't get it to work. But then I slept on it, and I did all these drafts, and I was like, nah. And then I just completely ignored it, and then one day I was just sat there, bang, the whole thing came. Apart from the ending, actually. The ending went through a few changes. But then when I apply that to other stuff in my life, this might sound really weird, but I get better at stuff when I don't do it. Like driving, for example. When I was doing driving lessons, it's like, Oh, sorry, I'm still doing driving lessons. Might add. I like learn stuff on the lesson, and then when I'm trying to apply it in that lesson, I just can't do it. I'm just like, it just doesn't work. But then I'll come back to it next lesson. I'll just be doing it without thinking. So it's like those big videos kind of, I did say, especially the Arkham City rewrite, kind of teach me to just take a step back. So I'm also a person who like wants to get things done. Like if I've got things to do, I just want to get them done as quick as possible so I can get to the next thing, get to the next thing, get to the next thing. And the Arkham City rewrite kind of taught me to not do that and just chill out, basically. just like calm down and just, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But sort of generally about the bigger videos that aren't rewrites, I end up learning a lot about the game that I didn't think would be very interesting. Because a lot of, especially the Arkham games, they sometimes, like, at face value, like the in Arkham Asylum, there's the Spirits of Arkham tablets that you've got to scan.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the story of Quincy Sharp, and then he thinks he's possessed by Amadeus Arkham and all that. It's even stuff like that where before making the Arkham Asylum retrospective, I think it was one of the earlier videos on the channel. I know it was like the first big one, the second big one or something. But like I never really thought about them. I'd like listen to them and I was like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But then with that, it's like you kind of get into the lore of that, and then I'm like connecting it back to comics I've read, and it kind of elevates the whole experience. It's the same with Arkham City. Like I covered literally, I think, everything in that apart from like everything in the main game, like the story and all the side content. And that even just kind of made me appreciate Arkham City's depth in the combat, in the stealth, in the movement, voice acting. The whole thing just kind of made me think, damn, like these games are huge. Like even Arkham City, which is like what 14 years old now, which is terrifying.
God,
we're old. They're huge. Like they're massive projects to take on, and they definitely, the bigger videos definitely kind of have taught me to just chill out, and also made me appreciate these games that I play. I wouldn't say every day, but most days.
You know, I can't remember the gentleman's name, the creative director of the Insomniac Spider-Man games. I don't recall the exact story offhand, but it was something to the effect of, Marvel came to Insomniac and said, hey, we want to try getting into video games. Who do y'all want to take a crack at? And their answer was Spider-Man. If you were there and for whatever reason Spider-Man was off the table or that just didn't jump out to you, is there another Marvel character you would have been like, let's give them a game?
Ooh, obviously Wolverine, but Wolverine's getting a game, so that doesn't count. I'm not going to take Wolverine. I would really like to see a good Black Panther game. So I feel like that could be cool. Or one that's like completely different that I don't think, it's a bit like the Superman game, and that I don't think they'll ever do it right, because I don't think it's possible, is the Hulk. Like, I don't know how the Hulk game would work, but I think having a Hulk game would be really cool. Or like a James Bond style Black Widow game, like a stealth sort of Metal Gear Solid Black Widow game. I think that could be quite cool.
Well, I'll ping pong to a different thing. On the Arkham Talon end of it. So I did. It's funny. Val mentioned to me when we were emailing back and forth. He mentioned that it was a project, and then I found your channel through him, and then I saw the video.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm looking forward to checking that out. But like, what is your role in that? Are you kind of like there as a referee to be like, all right, let's make sure this all lines up, or what's your philosophy on it?
Yes. So the idea behind it was to get all these creators and be like, I'm writing an Arkham game, and I want you to pick a main character, for example. So Gotham Paladin got the main guy, like a spun two wheels, one with a creator, one with a...
Yeah.
Gotham Paladin ended up getting Nightwing, I believe, is the main character. I don't know.
Yeah, he picked the protagonist of it.
He picked Nightwing, but then like Val, for example, got a side mission, and that ended up being what it'll be. I can't spoil it because I can't.
Tell me after we're done. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's actually a really cool side mission that it's personal. I like it. He's done well. But then like the person who picked the main villain didn't know that Gotham Paladin had chosen Nightwing. So it was essentially supposed to be this really funny mess of a video where Gotham Paladin picks Nightwing, the villain is Kite Man, and like the supporting character is Two-Face.
Chewbacca,
Like just a complete
Chewbacca Two-Face.
Yeah, it was supposed to be just this like comedy, like, haha, look, all these Batman fans want different things in the video, and I'm going to put it all together in a story. Turns out, People who like Batman like cool things, which is good. So everyone gave me their parts. One person, and I love him, he's so funny, Arkham Boss. He picked, so I wanted like a guy, like the guy in the chat, like an Oracle or an Alfred. So I messaged him and I was like, hey dude, look, you've got this on the wheel. I was like, you've got this. Who do you want? And he was like, okay, I'll get back to you. Got back to me. He picked a man called Virgil Myers. Now, Virgil Myers, he becomes a villain called the Mute.
That's so
And I was
good.
like, that is... And that was the first answer I got back. And it was at that point, I was like, this video is going to be so funny. And then everyone else picked really serious options. And I was like, oh, no. So it pivoted from this one-off, like, lol. And then everyone else picked, like, really good, really serious options. So now I have to get all of these parts, to answer your original question, get all of these parts given to me by all these creators and mold them into a story, which hopefully makes sense. So that's the idea behind it. But then, when I decided the Arkham City rewrite was happening, and thus the Arkham Knight rewrite, I decided, it would be cool if Arkham Talon is going to be the fourth installment in the rewrite series, or as someone called it in the Arkham Asylum comment section, the Cardiverse. And I was like, thank you, because you just solved my issue for the Arkham City rewrite, because there's no cut content in that, apart from like the Clayface goon in the last bit. So the last section of the Cardiverse is going to be Arkham Talon, because I'll have had 3 games of rewriting, and then a 4th game to bring all of that experience hopefully together and send it off, however it's going to get sent off. I've had some really cool ideas given to me, some of which I'm like, what? But most of them are quite good. And in fact, one of them was teased in the Arkham City rewrite. No one picked it up, so I'm like, good, because then I can call back to that and be like, ha, got ya. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing Arkham Talon. I did have a story outline for it on a whiteboard next to me, but I had to get rid of it because I needed to do the Arkham City rewrite. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be hopefully a one-of-a-kind video in that loads of creators are in. Like, I'd say 13 in total, and then me, so 14, I guess. So yeah, I've got over an hour of people's submissions. Some people went really in-depth, and I said to everyone, like, you can go as in-depth or as baseline as you want. I'm not putting pressure to be like, you've got to do a 16-minute fully edited video, basically, for me to put in my video. So some people sent voice notes in, which I can kind of edit over, which is quite nice. Other people wanted, like, their style in it, so they edited, like, fully edited segments together. I've got, yeah, it's really cool. It'll probably be about 3 hours when it's done, which I'm a bit scared about, but yeah, hopefully that'll come out well.
One of the things I picked up on in the city rewrite is that you're kind of, I guess it's not really a dilemma because there's not an actual choice in the game, but there's an in-character choice. You know, in the original, let's go after Talia or stop Protocol 10. I'm curious, why is it that you decided to replace Talia with Robin in that sequence?
Okay, so the real reason, and this is really embarrassing. I have an actual I have 2 real reasons. The first one being, as I was writing the story and thinking, well, I don't really want Raish to be the big bad, right? Like, I don't want him to be behind it all. And I don't really like the demon trials in the main game, so I want to swap them out and kind of mess around with them. And then I got to the demon trials part and was like, oh my god, Talia al Ghul's in this game. Right. And if I was going to have Talia in it, because there were like 7 drafts of the story, there is a draft of the story where Talia plays a much bigger part, which I might make a video on one day because I feel like that could be quite cool. But she kind of becomes Batman's sidekick for like the second half of the game, like in a way, which I thought would have been quite cool. But the reason that I ended up cutting her out, like finally, and kind of making that choice was basically just to fit more Nightwing and Robin in. Because I really wanted, because I always feel like in the actual Arkham games, even in Arkham Knight, they're kind of there as recognisable, like, oh, it's Nightwing, or oh, it's Robin, but there's not really much to them. Like, you know Nightwing's Nightwing, he shows up and makes a joke, and then he fights people. You know Robin's Robin because he's dressed like Robin. But the idea was to try and give more screen time to Robin and Nightwing, so then in Night, that kind of pays off. I think I say in the City rewrite, like Robin specifically, Arkham City was kind of like a little sort of teaser as to what, like, he's a lot younger in the rewrite thing. Like, he's like, I think I said he was like 20 or 23, whereas in the actual games he's like 26, 27. So he's a lot younger, and Arkham City was like his first real, holy shit, Gotham's gonna die if I don't help, right? So then in Arkham Knight, he's going to kind of morph into Robin, like in all capitals, big yellow writing Robin, rather than Robin in Comic Sans with a little. Yeah. So that's the plan, and that's kind of why Talia missed out in the same way that Catwoman missed out, because I really wanted to keep Catwoman in, but it would have only been when I was writing like the Nightwing portion. I was like, well, if I do a character switch to Catwoman here, after I've done a character switch to Nightwing, that's too many character switches for an Xbox 360 game. I mean, it's not, but it is for an Arkham game. I felt like that would kind of take away from it. So in Night, there'll be a lot more of Catwoman and of Robin, and maybe, wink wink, Talia al Ghul. But yeah, it was kind of just to give more time to Robin and Nightwing. Hopefully set up a really cool Arkham Knight rewrite, where a lot more characters will have a lot more screen time and be a lot more fleshed out.
Yeah. Well, I guess on the subject of the Arkham Knight rewrite, I have one request for you. I'm hoping we can fill in a big gap in the lore and finally figure out what the hell happened to Batman's parents. We need...
Oh, you know what I should do? I should do an extended flashback sequence. That's what it needs. No, you're right. Yeah, we need to find out what happens to Batman's parents, and also what happens to Nightwing's parents in the same film. Good.
Be great if like Uncle Ben also shows up. Like, oh, what the fuck?
Do you want to ghostwrite the video? You can go.
Hell yeah.
I'll take the credit. Cool. Okay. Well, I'll send you a message after.
It's just Arkham Origins, but it's just everyone's origins. Spider-Man, like we get the Hulk. He just turns into like this gamma irradiated looking Batman. Hell, Luke Skywalker. We'll throw Luke in there. We'll burn his aunt and uncle again. It'll be great. It'll be just a nice introduction to intellectual property. I think that's what the
here's Batman and here's everything else ever.
This is what the world. Yeah, just the logical conclusion of our Fortnite-ified storytelling. Nah, I love it. This is what the world needs right now.
Everyone.
One of the ones I wanted to ask, another thing on the rewrite end of it was that you wrote in it, which I thought was a really cool sequence, the Tiger Assault on Wayne Manor. What would you like to see the Arkham games or Batman stories do with Bruce? Maybe I'll just cue it up that way.
Oh, I would really like to see Bruce more in the costume than Batman, if that makes sense. So see that Bruce Wayne side come out in the costume. There's a really good episode of the animated series called I Am the Knight. I want to get this right because it is important. So it's called I Am the Knight. It's and you see a lot of it. Basically takes place on the, I can't remember what anniversary, but on the anniversary of Bruce Wayne's parents' death. That Batman goes to Crime Alley to lay flowers down, and he says to Alfred a lot throughout the episode, like how basically sick he is of being Batman. Like he goes out every night and he doesn't feel like he's making a difference. But then, long story short, Commissioner Gordon gets shot and ends up in care, and then the criminal who tried to kill Commissioner Gordon ends up breaking out of I think it's called Stonegate, because for some reason the animated series called Blackgate Stonegate, and it's the only thing that's ever done it, which I think's really strange. But the criminal breaks out of Stonegate, and then Batman saves him, and Batman kind of realizes that he needs to be Batman, or Bruce Wayne. I should say Bruce Wayne, because there's not a whole lot of Batmaning throughout the episode. And then there's a kid called, there's a kid called, he's played by the guy who does the voice for Chris Griffin in Family Guy.
Seth Green?
We'll just call him Seth for the sake of this.
We'll call him Seth. Yeah,
we'll call him Seth because I've got nothing. So this kid basically is like I I think he like robs people, like he's like a petty thief, like he'll rob like a woman will walk past him or just steal a handbag. And that kid basically tells Batman, he tries to help him, and he's like, Batman, go away. But by the end of the episode, he ends up saving this kid, or he saves the kid at the start of the episode. The kid then goes into care and then comes out of care, realizing Batman kind of saved his life, because if he didn't get stopped by Batman, he'd still be doing that and still be embroiled in these gangs and stuff like that. And Batman kind of realizes that the little guy is who he does it for. He does it for the little kid who could have turned into a criminal, but then decides that because of Batman, he's going to change his life and move out of Gotham and live literally anywhere else other than Gotham. And that's kind of what I want to see from Bruce Wayne more. Is maybe not more Bruce Wayne in the suit and the tie, but more Bruce Wayne in the Batman. Like, just getting that side of... And I think the comics do it well, but media, like films and television and games, often don't. Like, they very much treat Bruce Wayne as Bruce Wayne. Batman is Batman. Like, there's a line and that's it. I think I'd really like to see that side of Batman come out more, and that side of Bruce Wayne falter and think... Because you would, right? Like, if you were doing this night in, night out for 25 years, the Joker kept breaking out, Two-Face kept killing people, like, anyone would be like, what the hell am I doing this for? Like, there's no point. And I feel like Batman needs to have that, Bruce Wayne needs to have that doubt. And then, I think in the episode, Robin says, like, you always taught me to never give up, and now you're giving up, like, the hell's up with that, man? Like that sort of thing, like, he's like, what? And I think that would be a really interesting thing to explore more. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the rewrites. I know we keep tying it back in through it, but I was trying to show that sort of, like, human side of that. Like, just an Arkham Asylum written, like, a side mission for Arkham Asylum. Yeah. So, like, Arnold Wesker, the ventriloquist, gets forgotten about, and then there's a whole thing with the little puppet, and the puppet kills someone. Like, Arnold Wesker kills someone. And then he basically tries to kill himself. And then Batman has to talk him down from it and be like, that's not... And in the script of it, I intentionally had Batman say, like... There's one bit where he's supposed to say, like, that's not what you need, but he, like, stops himself and says that's not what we need, to try and kind of include Arnold into that, because the whole thing is that Arnold Wesker is alone. Like, the doll... Everyone on Arkham Island forgot about him. The doll started talking to him again, and then he went back to the doll, and then even the doll tried to make... Like, he killed someone, and... Like, he was all torn up about it, because he knows that's not right. Like, he knows that he shouldn't be killing people, but when the doll says, kill someone, he's like, well, I haven't really got a choice, I'm going to kill them. So the kind of ideal there was to have Batman kind of, just through words, and kind of through his actions of, I guess, the ultimate act of showing him he's not alone was that Batman showed up to try and stop him. So I kind of had that and referred to Batman as Bruce throughout that encounter, because I don't think that's Batman. That's Bruce Wayne. But obviously, they're kind of... I know it's interlinked, right? And yeah, I think that sort of stuff, or even in the Bane one, I've done a Bane rewrite for Arkham City recently, where Batman ends up trying to convince Bane that the people back where he lives in Santa Prisca, there we go, or is it Peñadura? No, Peñadura is the prison. Santa Prisca, where he's originally from, has been overtaken by warlords, and in the actual Arkhamverse, Bane actually does go back there to help it. I can't remember if he goes back specifically to help people, but he ends up going back there. And ends up helping them anyway. But through that, I kind of wanted to show Batman being like, look, like, just because you don't think it's worth fighting for doesn't mean it isn't worth fighting for. Like, the people who still live there need someone to show them that it's not the end of the world. To kind of be the Batman, right? Be the idea of Batman that there's always going to be someone fighting for you. And that's kind of what Bane then, in my head, because obviously I don't like go into detail of what happens after the side mission, but in my head, that's kind of what Bane goes on to do. Like, taking out the warlords and kind of bringing peace back to his village. But yeah, I think I just kind of want to see that side of Bruce Wayne. Like, the more
human, yeah.
Yeah, like, he appeals to the villains and he goes, like, I could just beat the crap out of you and send you back into Arkham. Like, in the Asylum rewrite. I almost ended it with a silly boss fight, and the puppet was going to have a Tommy gun. It was silly. But then I was like, no, like, I don't think Batman would do that. Like, I think he'd see past he killed someone and he deserves to be punished for that. but he doesn't deserve to be made to feel alone again. And Bruce Wayne would kind of come through that and be like, because Batman of all people knows what it's like to feel alone, right? Like after his parents died, like. So I thought, I don't think Batman would just beat the crap out of him, shove him in Blackgate, and leave him there for 20 years. And that's kind of what I want to see.
Let's hear. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cue you up for the last couple here. This is the setup to the question. This isn't the question itself. Are you familiar with the Voyager Golden Record? If you were there, is there a song you would have insisted go on the Golden Record?
Ooh, I like that one. I was gonna give a really stupid one. I don't know what it was gonna be. No, a specific song. I really like Iron Maiden, the rock band. 2 Minutes to Midnight is a really good song. That's my favorite. I'd probably that, or I've been on like this massive, weirdly hyper-fixated Linkin Park run recently. Never really been a fan of Linkin Park, and then 6 months ago I was like, yeah, this is Easier to Run by Linkin Park is a good song. But probably 2 Minutes to Midnight by Iron Maiden, just because I like it, and it's about war and how bad it is. And I think that's a good message to send to aliens. Do not drop nukes on us, aliens, if they ever find it.
The word art in this question can mean anything: music, books, YouTube videos, movies, whatever you like. What kind of art do you think we need more of right now?
I think we need I think we need more real art in a sense of not generated and also like human in that, like, in the feeling it gives, like kind of like more art that kind of makes you think and go, oh, what, like that's like that gives a message. It doesn't have to be like a really deep message. Like it can just be like, look at these two people sat on a bench eating a hot dog talking. And then you can infer from that what you will. But yeah, more stuff like that. I think the world would be maybe not a better place, but certainly a more interesting one to just look at things and go like, oh, what does that mean? So yeah, that sort of thing would be cool.
Hell yeah.
Also, more Lego games, please. Just more
more Lego games.
more Lego games.
No encore.